Hey, real quickie video today. Had a bit of an issue with my 360-degree camera, which is mounted under the Mercedes emblem. Don't worry about that. That's just a little bit of lubricant I used on the, spray lube I used on the back of the Star so I could turn it easier. It's like -8 out here, and I don't want hard, brittle plastics, coming into contact too much with each other. Anyway, so to remove this Star, you just click it a little bit to this direction and pull it out. Mine's illuminated, so it's hanging from the wire, and inside your camera is here, and you're going to see the wiring going up to that orange connector, which if you have two tiny little monkey hands, you could get down in here behind the grill and get to. And that connector, the problem I was having is my front camera, when it would get really wet out, it would rain for a few days, the front camera would stop working, stop showing a picture, and then when it dried out, it would be fine. So I've dried it out with the heat gun. You could do it with a hair dryer. But anyway, it's just in a little clip down here. And all you really want to do, see how that clip, see if there's water down in there? And that's not from what I just sprayed down there. That's just water that sits down in there. So these wires get a little bit wet and the moisture gets in there. All we want to do is protect those so that no moisture gets in and turns the camera off. Now the camera's on, there's no moisture in there, and I'm just going to be covering that in dielectric grease, and I'll be back in one sec. Okay, so what I'm using here is a dielectric grease. This is just made by Grote. Oops. Boom, boom. It's for sealing electrical connections and stuff. And I'm just going to be liberally, it's cold, so this stuff's pretty hard, just applying it where the wires come into the connection there. So I'm just going to cover, actually I'm going to cover the whole damn thing. And I'm going to get my second hand, once I have little monkey hands, kind of. I can get this one in here. I'll probably have to grease my hand. So I can use two hands. I'll be able to pull the electrical connection apart, grease everything up, plug that together, and then I won't have that problem with water anymore. You can use, if you have a silicone lubricant, if you have a good silicone spray would probably cover it too. But I don't have a pure silicone spray at the moment, and I'm not going to the store to get any. And this connector simply has a little push tab right there. I don't know why this camera, I think I'm fogging it up with my breath because it's cold out. Push the little thing and pull the connectors. You're going to need two hands in order to do that because you don't want to put any more force on those wires. And that wiring connector there, that one disappears back into the loom, back up in there, and you're not replacing that thing very easily. So cover it in some dielectric grease, cover it in some silicone grease, and just don't let the water get in there, and it will be absolutely fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, for good measure, I am going to, let me put this down for 1 second. I'm using a little paintbrush with grease. But you see this, the camera's kind of got a cup on it. You can see from the back it's kind of, it's kind of open in the back where the wiring goes down. I'm going to jam some of the grease down where the wiring goes into the body just in case as well. Not into the body of the car, but in the body of the camera. Because that cup could be, it's just like an opening that could easily hold water in there. It's it didn't seem to be the issue when I was drying it out. It seemed to be this connection right here, which I've, as you can see, coated in gooey dielectric grease. It's not something I'm going to be touching very often. Hopefully not. If I got to touch this now, I'm not going to be happy. But I just want it completely covered. I don't want to have to worry about that water getting in ever again. And that's why I'm adding some in there. Like I said, I don't think this was the issue down here where the wiring goes into the camera, but just in case, I'm going to fill it. Actually, take a look at this brush after stabbing into that little cavity where the camera wiring goes. There's a lot of crap in there. So that could very well have been the problem too, and maybe it just dried out as a consequence of me drying out the wire. Not sure, but not hurting to put it in there. Sorry, just keep adding stuff to this video, but it was just after jamming a bunch in there that I found this.